If you have oily skin and need a sweat-proof makeup routine, follow these steps. And just FYI, your makeup is not melting due to your foundation. It's usually what you're doing before you do your foundation. First things first, you want to make sure you're starting off with clean skin. Start with a cleanser that removes oil from your skin, but also doesn't strip your skin. Next, you want to go with the lightweight gel moisturizer. This is a hydrating cream and it's also going to strengthen the skin barrier. It's good for oily skin and people with sensitive skin. You want the skin to be hydrated so the makeup doesn't crack or get cakey, but you also don't want it to be greasy. So just make sure that each product you're applying has time to actually soak up into the skin. You don't want it to slide around everywhere, so just make sure that you're giving yourself enough time in between each step. Next step, you want to use something that's really going to help with oil control, and this is my favorite. As you can see, the Grow product. When I pull this out, I just know the makeup is going to look so good. This is the Danessa Myricks Water Powder Serum. She is well loved, well used. I put this especially on the areas that I get oily. This is going to hydrate your skin while also turning into a soft powder finish, which is perfect for oily skin. So it's really going to help control that shine before the makeup application even starts. Trust me, if you take anything from this video, let it be this product. Not only does this help before your foundation goes on, but this is going to reduce the oil production throughout the day as you're wearing your makeup. Allow this to soak into your skin. Next, I'm going to go with the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm. And I'm going to put this especially on the areas that I get oily, like my forehead and down my nose. And you don't want to rub, you want to really press this in. This is going to also smooth and blur any pores if you feel like you struggle with texture, because this is also going to help absorb any excess sweat and oil throughout the day. Also keep in mind that I'm doing thin layers of every product and I'm letting it dry down. That is really essential to this routine actually working. And after that, you can go in with a fixing spray right on top. There is a big difference between a fixing spray and then an actual setting spray. Fixing sprays are going to help the makeup last longer and help control oil and sweat, versus setting sprays melts powders and gives the final finish to your makeup. Fixing sprays are going to be your best friend in between each steps so that there's layers to your makeup to resist oil and sweat throughout the day. Once this is dry, we can go in with our foundation. This oily skin prep routine, you can use drugstore or high-end, it does not matter. Now when I go with my foundation, I like to go in with a flat brush because I like to go in with thin layers. Blend it in with either a sponge or a brush. Right now I'm really into the sponge, specifically this Anastasia sponge. It's huge. And I am using one of my favorite mattifying foundations, the Impeccable Skin Foundation from Anastasia. In the middle of blending in my creams and my concealer, and spray the fixing spray on top. Just push everything into the skin. I'm going to set with the waterproof and sweatproof powder. This one's from Natasha Denona. Really push the powder into your skin. This completely ultra blurs and mattifies your makeup. I'm going to go ahead and set my makeup. I'm going to use these two. First the fixing spray and then the setting spray. This one is also the liquid blurring balm setting spray, so it ties in perfectly with those primers. Drench my skin in this to really blur and leave the skin nice and matte. This is the final makeup look, and for extra insurance, you could definitely add in the L'Oreal Infallible Setting Spray to really lock everything down and make it extra waterproof. So if you have oily skin, remember, prep for oily skin, thin layers, set in stages, and spray between layers. And that's the real secret for sweat-proof makeup. And make sure you're following me for more tips.
If you have oily skin and your makeup looks like a greasy mess by the end of the day, you're doing it wrong. This is how you do your makeup if you have oily skin so that it lasts and doesn't look greasy by the end of the day. You need to make sure you're priming your skin correctly. So this is going to be any kind of oil absorbing or mattifying primer. My favorite is the One Size Oil Sucker. I've been using this ever since it came out. So anywhere I know I get the most oily, so for me that would be my T-zone, and then also kind of the center of my face, like here. No matter what primer you're using, you want it to sit for at least a minute before you apply any products. For this primer in particular, you need to let it sit for 3 minutes, so that's what I'm gonna do. The foundation that you pick is very important. I like to opt for a matte or a skin-like foundation. Something that is skin-like will mimic the finish of your skin, your natural skin. I don't personally believe in picking too glowy of a foundation because we already know some of your oils are going to peek through by the end of the day, so why would we mimic the look of oils peeking through from the beginning? You know what I mean? Picking a foundation that is matte or skin-like allows your makeup to wear better throughout the day. So today I'm going to be using the Haus Labs foundation. This is a beautiful skin-like foundation. I think it's really great for any skin type. This is something I tell everybody to do whether you have oily skin or not. You must use a setting spray in between layers of your makeup. The first time I'm going to apply a setting spray is before I blend out my concealer, which is also before I apply any powders. You can also do this after you blend out your concealer. It's up to you. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish setting spray. And I'm gonna let this dry down all the way before I blend out my concealer and set my makeup. Another thing that is extremely important is powder. Powder is going to lock in all of the creams and liquids that you've used on your face. Please do not be shy with powder. Ever. if you have oily skin. First, I'm gonna set my under eyes. This is the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 330. I clearly love this powder. Like I said, you should be generous with your powder. I like using a brush for my pressed powder. I just feel like it's perfect for the formula, and it distributes the powder really nice and evenly on your face. Do you see how much more smooth I already look? Exactly. Well, yes. For the rest of my face, I'm using a powder that is the same shade as my skin tone. I really like this one from One Size. Again, I'm gonna take a tapered powder brush and I'm just gonna apply this everywhere else onto my face. Don't forget to powder your neck as well. I feel like people don't always say this. Be careful not to go under your eyes because you don't want to darken them. The next powder I'm gonna go in is with my loose powder. I'm using the shade Rich Peach from One Size, and with this I do like to use a powder puff. I'm gonna dip the powder into the powder puff and smooth it in the palm of my hand to make sure the powder is smooth on the powder puff, and then I'm gonna bake my face by applying the powder to my under eyes like this. I also like to do my upper lip, and then I tap the excess powder off on my forehead. I like to let this sit for only about 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes it stays on a little longer than I intend. But now I'm just going to pat this in with my powder puff. We want to get the most use that we can out of our loose powder, so you don't want to sweep it away immediately. And then we can use the first brush that we used to apply our pressed powder to dust away the rest of the powder. Next, we're going to use our setting spray again. This is going to help the powder melt into our skin. So if you think you look really powdery right now, this setting spray is going to help with that. And then of course, just let it dry down as normal. When your makeup is all done, then you want to apply a fixing spray. This is also going to keep your makeup in place all day. It's going to fix all of the makeup into place. Y'all know by now, One Size Until Dawn is my favorite. Whew. Oh my goodness. And now you've applied your makeup so that it'll last you all day, so that you don't give greaseball by the end of the day. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helped.
This one is for all my oily skin girls. If you're looking for a new makeup routine, look no further. I got you. I'm going to be showing you guys how to layer these products to make sure that your makeup lasts all day. Okay, let's run through skin prep. Rhode glazing milk. Prepping your skin, guys, it's still important. So just making sure that your skin is hydrated, even if you have oily skin. Denesamyrix 1010 Barrier Boost Serum. Water Powder Serum by Denesamyrix. Denesamyrix Blur and Balm Powder and Universal. I promise if you use these two together, your makeup will not budge, literally. Edam Lashushu and Shakur Shaved Ice. This is the new NARS Natural Matte Foundation. This is perfect if you have oily skin. This is the Hourglass Concealer. I'm going in with the shade Teak first. This is the LYS Beauty Contour Bronzer Stick. And I just place some. Going with my beauty blender here. When I want a good beat and I want my makeup to last, this is a concealer that I reach for. So that is my first layer of concealer done. Let's choose a blush, guys. These blushes from Denesamyrix, I love them. They are cream to powder formula. This shade of the Hourglass concealer is Flax, and this is what I'm going to use just to brighten my under eye a little bit. I'm gonna first go in with a brush. This is the Denesamyrix concealer brush. Okay, time to set. My favorite part. Pay attention. Okay, I got y'all. This is Ube Birthday Cake by Huda Beauty. I feel like Huda Beauty powder is good if you have oily skin. Take this and just make sure that any excess is off of the sponge. So you want the sponge to look like this. And I'm just gonna press the powder into my skin. I just do one more layer. This is the NARS Laguna Bronzing Powder. I just use a little bit of this because this is a little deep. I tend to do blush last, so I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face. I use the MAC Studio Fix Powder in NW46. So it's time for more blush, and of course, my House Labs Dragon Fruit Days, my ride or die. I love this blush so much. When I have this blush in my hands, I find it hard to put it down because it's so pretty. So at this point, I usually go in with my One Size Powder Milk Spray but it's almost done. And I've really been trying to hold out until the Sephora sale to get another one. I'm just gonna try to squeeze out whatever is left in there and hope for the best. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna do my eyes real quick and then I'll be back to finish up the base. This is the Denesamyrix Liquid Blurring Balm, and it's basically powder in a bottle. If you're gonna use this, make sure you shake it. Okay.
I have super oily skin. This is how I layer my makeup to make it last all day. Hydrating serum. Make sure you give this a couple seconds to really sink in. Lightweight sunscreen. Give that a couple minutes as well. Pore filling mattifying primer. This is where I apply it. Let that really dry down. Blurring skin tint. Press product in with a brush for maximum coverage. Looks so good. Serum bronzer to add warmth. Lightly apply on outer part of the face. Bronzer makes me feel alive. Liquid blush. Using my fingers to press this in. Love a good blurring soft matte finish. Never skip color corrector. Just a little bit in the inner corner and tap in. Hydrating concealer. Your face might be oily, but your under eyes aren't. Tap that in with fingers as well. Look at that flawless finish. Blending blush and concealer. Huda Beauty powder. Mixing cupcake and pound cake. Mix. Powder puff. Tap off the excess. Apply. Lightly set the rest of the face with the same powder. Powder bronzer, very light amount. Adding some glow back into the skin with a glowy blush. A little bit of pressed powder, just in the inner corner. Setting spray, a lot of it. Let it completely dry. Take whatever's left on your powder puff and set the center of the face one more time. And this is the finished look.
I am so pissed because the other day I met one of my neighbors and their skin was pretty oily. I didn't say anything because everybody has a different style. But you know what they said? They said, oh, it's nothing fancy, it's just drugstore makeup, so this is the best I can do. Ma'am, sit down because I'm going to show you drugstore beat for oily skin. I hate when people complain that drugstore makeup is not doing it for them. No, you're not doing it right. And I'm going to show you because I love you. If you have an oily base, start with the Oil Control Moisturizer. This one from CeraVe. Remember, skin prep is very important and you need to use the right products. Not feel greasy at all. Because you have oily skin doesn't mean you can't be dehydrated. Oily skin is also dehydrated. Once that sinks in, I want you to grab this L'Oreal 3-second setting mist. Prepping your face with a mattifying setting mist. It's going to control the oil. Knowing how to prime is the key. You can already see how it mattified the skin a little bit. 2 words, Lumi Matte. If you have not tried Maybelline Lumi Matte, you're missing out. Luminous, but it's matte and it's thin and it does not feel oily. But if you put this on, you're missing out a step. I want you to grab a setting powder. Powder puff. This is Milani. Even it out, locking in the base with a little bit of powder. It won't be cakey, it won't pill. In the T-zones where I get very, very oily. How you apply the foundation is the key. Saturate the brush, gentle tapping motions on the face, creating a thin layer of coverage. The powder absorbs the excess moisture from the foundation. You can see how the eyelids are oily, but the rest of the face is matte. The e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer. This is a liquid bronzer, but actually dries down pretty matte off your hand. A brush, almost going to work it in as if it's a powder. This CoverGirl Skin Enhanced Blush Balm, it lays on top of the makeup without disturbing, but it's still a balm. And all you gotta do is gently press and it'll give you a powder flush with a balm blush. The most underrated concealer from drugstore, Maybelline Fit Me. Add it right under the eye. This one actually helps with oily skin. You know the drill. You have to let the concealer dry and then blend it out. It's going to turn matte and give you more coverage. Look at the way that brightened just the inner corner of my eye. Now, before you set your face with powders, hit it with a mattifying setting spray again. L'Oreal or Milani. Locking in your skin in layers and mattifying as you go. While the skin dries, set your eyebrows. I'm using Maybelline. Take a puff or a brush and set your under eyes. But trust me, this is how your makeup's gonna stay matte and not turn oily. Lock in your blush and your bronzer as well. And you can make your under eyes with a pink powder. This is NYX, but don't go crazy. Curl your lashes, any mascara, but I'm obsessed with L'Oreal Telescopic. Prep the wand, take off the excess. Roots to tips, and you can skip lashes after this. Look at the definition and look at the drama. Once mascara is done, set your face again. This time, use e.l.f. This is also mattifying. Touch up. Here's the thing, take a little bit of blurring primer, add it to your eyelid. We're doing this because eyelids get oily, and that is how the mascara smudges everywhere. You don't need a lot, you need a tiny bit. Take that pressed powder again and completely lock in your eyelids. If you're doing eyeshadow, do it now. Now the eyelids are blurred and locked in with powder, so they will get less oily. Also, you got to protect the lip. If you don't mind a matte lip, mattify it with a little bit of powder. Now this is the drugstore beat for oily skin. It's minimal, nothing crazy. Makeup is locked in because we prepped the right way. We use powders, blurring primers, mattifying setting sprays, and we layered. Skin still looks natural and doesn't look cakey or heavy. And look, it's not extremely dry, but it's locked in, and trust me, this beat will work for oily skin. So next time if I see you and you're still complaining about drugstore makeup, I will not see you anymore. Been in the sun for the last 1 hour playing with my dogs. The beat has not moved. This is a message for everyone who thinks drugstore beats are not good. Look at the damn oily face beat. Mascara is not smudging on the eyelid because the primer is protecting it. Yes. It's getting very, very hot. I'm going to go in, but it's dry. It's matte. It's not oily. It's been 3 hours. This is the face. Still not oily. About 6 hours. You see around my nose, it's getting a tiny bit oily right here. But overall, it's still holding on good. This is my face after 7 hours. It got a little oily around the nose like I said it would get. My T-zone is oily. I did not touch my face at all, but to touch that up, you can use a setting spray and a mattifying powder. Elf, Milani, L'Oreal, whatever you want. The skin prep is the most important thing. How you prime your skin, how you use the powders. That's very important.
If you have oily skin and you're not exfoliating your skin, then make it make sense. You have to exfoliate to remove excess oil from your pores because your skin may be prone to clogged pores, which can contribute to excess oil production. A lot of times we tend to think that just because you have oily skin, you don't need to hydrate your skin. But believe it or not hydrating your skin can actually make your skin oilier. So never over dry your skin with too many mattifying products. Instead, try to hydrate it as well. Stop neglecting your pores because this is where the oils come from. So apply a mattifying primer around your pores to help smoothen them out. This is going to help prevent the oils from peeking through your pores. Don't use any formulas that are luminous or dewy. Stick to oil-free and oil-absorbing formulas, such as this L'Oreal True Match Foundation. I love this foundation because it has a soft matte finish, but it doesn't dry out my skin. And use oil-absorbing setting powders, such as this Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder, to set your concealer. Don't just apply your liquid products and leave them like that. So set your liquid products with a powder that matches your skin tone. This will help keep your skin matte all day long. If you're using cream blush, set it with a powder blush to make it last longer. And this is going to help control oils on your skin with makeup.